Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You're very welcome along. This is episode 6, series 52, in which we're discussing our theme of awe, and I am tempting you away from your desk to take a 10-minute stroll in nature and reap the myriad physical and mental health benefits of doing so. Today I'm going to be bringing you some thoughts from Cindy, which have arrived via voicenote from Nebraska in the United States of America, and some other thoughts about how awe causes our self to vanish. Welcome to Walk the Pod.
Well, thank you for creating the Awe series. This has been so good and a chance to get reflective. And, I've thought about different experiences in life from the negative perspective, shock and awe of some things, and moments of sheer surprise, whether viewing something in nature or at an art museum recently, or hearing my son sing in different languages with a 440 person choir was just putting goosebumps on my skin and evoking tears. And I thought, oh, this is awe. And when my children were born, I thought, the depth of love that I never had experienced before, the power and the beauty of that bond. And then for me also is the expression of awe as I think of my sincere faith in Jesus. When I'm in the Bible reading prayerfully with God, it's not just the scriptures about awe, but it is something so very tangible that impacts me in a way that is moving and meaningful. And as a person, I think, man, I have been changed by awe in the power of the gospel. And so thank you again for all of your intentionality bringing this great series on awe together.
Thank you, Cindy. It must be incredible to hear your one of your children sing in a 440-person choir. That is quite amazing, and reminds me actually of some of the reading I've been doing about awe in Daka Keltner's book by the same title, Awe, which talks about how much of the awe that we feel is to do with being amongst people doing a similar thing. So singing in a 440-person choir can be awesome to be in as well as to listen to or to see happening, because we're doing something in sync with other people. And Daka takes a moment to describe the Burning Man festival in America, and in Nevada in the desert, and to talk about how at Burning Man people dance together. And that actually any act of doing something together with other people can cause something which it's difficult to name, and maybe we can call it awe. Which brings me on to the topic for this episode, which is the vanishing self. Not only do people draw themselves as smaller when they've just experienced an awesome event, and I'm using awesome in the sort of real sense of awe-inspiring rather than awesome as in the Lego movie Everything is Awesome song. But not only do people draw themselves smaller if they've just experienced awe than if they haven't, but also people can find themselves in a feeling of having dissolved almost when they are awestruck by something. The self feels much less important. And I'm going to go on tomorrow to talk about the overview effect, which is a similar sort of thing of seeing things from a completely different perspective, which puts ourselves in a very diminished sort of place, and that diminished place can be powerful. So thank you, Cindy, so much for your voice note. I really appreciate that. Thank you for bringing us your feelings about your religious experiences, reading the Bible and thinking about Jesus and God. It is something which I think lots and lots of people experience, and is a completely different perspective on life that we should sort of all think about. And that can be whatever religion or faith that you come from, or one you've invented yourself. It can be quite an individual thing, or it can be taking part in something organised by enormous institutions that span the globe. Spirituality is definitely a source of awe, and one we do well to include in our discussion here, so thank you. What can I see directly in front of me? I'm in the park behind the hospital, as is so often the case on a Monday, and I am seeing in front of me the shiny leaves of a holly bush and the bright red berries of another tree that I don't know the name of. There's a tiny tot being pushed on a swing in the park. There are a few white clouds in the sky, but the sky is mostly blue. The hospital hums ominously in the background. I can see a twig on the ground covered in lichen, and I remember Sam telling me that lichen on wood is a sign that the air is very pure. I doubt it, but it may be sufficiently far away from roads that it is pure enough for lichen to thrive here. And it was interesting reading about Burning Man, because the experience of being at Burning Man is not one that I've had, but I imagine it is entirely different to my day-to-day experience working at the university behind the hospital, which is very rules-based and serious and sensible, and Burning Man, on the other hand, is absolutely unhinged in the best way possible. And maybe all the very serious and sensible and rules-based people who love the stability of a governance framework at a university should be picked up with an existential claw, like they're in one of those machines in Toy Story, and placed in Burning Man for a day or two, just to kind of shake them up a bit and put them in a slightly different context, and then put back in their cubicles to carry on. We could all do with a different perspective from time to time, and we all do sort of cling on to our routines and to some extent forget about the alternative ways to be alive that there are. I can see lots of not catkins, but like sycamore helicopters up in this tree that's just on the right as I walk past this grassy knoll that is part of the play park. I can hear sirens in the distance, and I remember when I lived in Tooting, in this part of southwest London, I always used to think it's quite comforting having the hospital, because you do assume that every siren you hear is an ambulance taking somebody to a place where they will be looked after and cared for and healed, as opposed to thinking it might be a police vehicle attending some kind of horrendous crime. So that's somewhat comforting when you're near a hospital like this, in some senses of the word. Thank you for walking with me, dear friends. It's been a delight to stretch my legs with you this lunchtime. I so enjoy this wonderful walking community, the virtual walking club that will walk with you all around the world, wherever you are and whenever you would like to walk. Walk the Pod is here for you. So thank you very much indeed for your kind attention and for walking with us. We have 4 episodes left, and then it will be the end of the Walk the Pod year. We won't have another series now until January, but the back catalogue will be here for you as ever, so do not despair, dear friends. Take care of your beautiful mind, yourselves and each other, and I'll be back with episode 7 tomorrow.